Welcome back to Saturday Hashmarks. My name is Brian, also known as Trojan Bias on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Joined here by Nick. Nick, first and foremost, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This episode will come out right before Christmas. Christmas is on Thursday. We're recording this on Tuesday, Christmas Eve. And tomorrow we got Christmas Eve. We also got some big college football results. We had the first round of the college football playoff earlier this week or last weekend. In those games, we both went 2 for 2 on these games. And Nick, I do got to tell everyone, you did switch your pick from Alabama to Oklahoma like an hour before kickoff, and I do have the text to prove it. I will pull those up if you want. But
Hey, it looked good at first.
hey,
It
so
looked like a good switch at first.
it looks like a great switch for the first quarter and a half. So Alabama beats Oklahoma 34-24, like Nick just alluded to. Oklahoma was up 17-0 through the first quarter and a half. They were looking good. They were moving the ball on offense. They were forcing 3 and outs on Bama. Bowling Bama, pressuring Simpson. Ty Simpson looked terrible under pressure. Almost every play seemed like he was running for his life back there, either having to get rid of the ball, take a sack, or try to hit a receiver, and just was way off because he was under pressure. But then, Oklahoma starts chipping away a little bit, or Alabama starts chipping away a little bit. Oklahoma they got to punt the ball. Alabama goes down and scores. And then what really, though, said, I think, the momentum shift was under 2 minutes to play in the second half. Oklahoma driving down the field, getting kind of close to the end zone, and then they throw a pick six. And I think from that point on, that was Bama's game. That was Alabama's game. Oklahoma was within striking distance for the whole game after that, but it was one of those where you're looking at this going, there's no way. Alabama would get a 3-and-out, then Oklahoma gets a 3-and-out. Then they would stop Alabama and then score, and then Alabama would answer right back and score. It was just a game that just was not going their way in the second half at all. I don't think either quarterback honestly looked really good in that game.
No. Bama's got, Ty Simpson the last 5 weeks has looked pretty average to bad. Super inconsistent. And, you can't really tell what you're going to get. But yeah, Mateer looked better.
Mateer
wasn't enough.
looked better. Mateer looked
Second
better.
half wasn't as good as the first half was.
Yeah, Simpson looked worse in the first half, and Mateer looked good, not great in the first half, and then kind of flipped into the second half. Now, granted, like I said, Simpson was running for his life back there. Stat line finished 18 for 29, 232 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Mateer went 26 for 41, so a lot of attempts, not a great completion percentage, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then that 1 interception. But the thing that I think is the most kind of what the hell is going on here is that Bama still cannot run the ball. Bama still cannot run the ball. They have absolutely no run game going back to before the college or the conference championship
They haven't had a run
game
game all year.
They haven't, but it hasn't been this bad. I think their leading rusher, or they had 22 or something yards total.
I thought it was 22 carries for 25 yards or 22 carries for 23 yards.
Something like that. I know as a team, Alabama had under 30 yards total. Now, granted, a lot of that there was negative 22 yards in that material that Simpson had because of sacks. But at the same time, even if you take those away, they were under 50 yards rushing as a team. That's not going to win. It won them a game. It's hard to beat the same team twice. We've talked about that before. But they have no run game, and I don't see them doing too well and making a run when they can't run the ball.
Yeah, they had 17 carries for 54 yards between the 3 guys that actually carried the ball. 3.17 yards a carry. That's not cutting it.
That's not going to win you a game. What does Bama do if they have a lead going forward? They can't run it out. They're going to have to play really good defense.
Yeah, and Tyson, the pick six really helped them. Just like it helped Oklahoma in the first matchup. But Simpson didn't turn the ball over, and that's huge. Didn't really play the best, 62% completion. Like you said, 18 of 29. Did enough to win. Didn't have a lot. It wasn't, a good offensive showing, but their defense locked in, scored them points, put them in positions to have shorter fields on offense, and it sealed the deal for Bama.
Their defense played well. their offense put up 28 points. Most of these games, or most of the people that they would match up against, or I should say, A&M, Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, all would have put up more than 28 points in my opinion, or I think had a better offense and a better chance to put up 28 points. You take that pick six away, it's a 4-point game. Like that pick six was absolutely huge. I would say that pick six won them the game, especially again shifted the momentum completely. I mean the momentum was kind of all on Oklahoma and kind of swinging back
Yeah,
Alabama's way, and that pick
I
six
don't know
just
what
swung it completely.
I don't know what the statistics are fully, but I've heard something where like if you get a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown in a game, you have a like I think it was like upwards of 50-60% chance that you're going to win the game. Like,
I would believe that. I would
and then so it's
100%
like
believe
it
that.
turns it from, a coin flip of a game, or, if you're a big underdog and you get a pick six, your odds just skyrocket. So like it is safe to say that pick six basically won them the game.
Now
And
I
who
am
knows if OU goes down and gets points at the end of the half, and it's an even bigger deficit for Bama. Who's to say that OU doesn't just hang on and Bama crumbles under the pressure? So I truly do think that the pick six won them the game.
100%. Now I am a little biased here, Nick. You know that I have a special place in my heart for special teams. I was a special teams player when we played in high school. Shout out Coach Coble. Actually, I was on the line on special teams at like 5'6", 150 pounds. I was just getting my ass kicked every single play. But special teams wins games. Special teams wins games. I will die on that hill.
Yep.
Very biasly, of course. Special place in my heart. I think my favorite plays in football are the punts that like are down at the 1 yard line. Those are my favorite plays. But I 100% am with you. I think the defense and special teams right there won Alabama in that game. I don't think their offense, did enough to win, but they wouldn't have won if they didn't have a great defensive show. Then the next day on Saturday, we had Miami at Texas A&M. So Nick, we were both wrong on this game. At least I was. I think you picked Miami, right? Or you picked A&M?
I'm pretty sure I picked A&M.
All right. So we'll say we're both wrong on this game. We were right on a lot, though. We just weren't right on what would happen on the outcome
Yeah.
of the game. We both said it'd be a very low scoring defensive game, and that is what we were treated with, a 10-3 win. We both said Kyle Field would be rocking. Kyle Field was rocking. We both said Carson Beck probably wouldn't play great. Carson Beck didn't play great. So
He barely had 100 yards passing,
he
right?
had 103 passing yards. Yeah. Um, so yeah, very low scoring defensive game. A lot of people were saying that was boring. I completely disagree. There's a
I
place where
like
it's like a
defensive
pitcher's duel
football.
in baseball. I don't need a 45-42 win to be satisfied with a football game. And
Yeah,
I kind of think if you do need
people
a,
are. I like points, but like the fact that game was just so back and forth defensively. It's so rare to see that kind of
yeah,
game nowadays that
I don't
it's
get me wrong.
actually just as good as, like, maybe not as good as Chiefs Rams Thursday night football 59-57 or whatever the hell that was, but it's better than watching, I feel like, a regular old football game, a 28-21 game,
I,
twenty-eight
I'm
24 type of game.
I agree. I think a shootout's a lot of fun to watch. Like knowing that any play could like you could go over the top, beat a cover four, and
Yeah,
score a touch, an 80-yard touchdown. Like that's a fun game to watch. Don't get me wrong. I think this is just as fun though. Like
100%.
I think a defensive game is just as fun. Like which defense or which offense can finally scheme something up to beat the defense that's kicking their ass. But then you get to see like Miami just absolutely kicking A&M's ass on the line, and you're looking at like can A&M draw up a blocking scheme, a pass protection scheme that will be able to stop the pass rush? Will they be able to find a way to run the ball? Will someone be able to dial up a scheme that can hit them over the top? Like I think a defensive football game is just as fun. I think if you're looking for the right things, it's just as fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think that you would agree if you're looking for the right things. But A&M's defense was really good. Miami's was just a little bit better. Miami did just completely shit the bed on special teams. I think their kicker had 3 missed field goals,
Yeah.
and A&M had a field goal that was blocked. No touchdowns in this game until 2 minutes left in the game when Miami puts one in. They hit a little swing screen pass to a receiver who runs it in. Nothing special. It's just a very good dialed up play to beat the A&M offense. Um, Marcel Reed was incredibly inaccurate in this game. Marcel Reed incredibly inaccurate. Game ends when he throws a interception in the end zone where he had a guy open and he threw it behind him. Um, I have his stats right here. We got 25 for 39, 237 yards, one touchdown. Now, he also had 15 carries on the ground for 27 yards, I think was their leading rusher. Uh,
Leading,
Carson Beck,
I want to say something. Leading rusher with 27 yards
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah,
and was sacked 7 times. So he
yeah,
realistically only ran it 8 times. And the fact that he still had positive yards was kind of
insane.
miraculous.
Yeah, like I said, Miami's defensive line kicked A&M's offensive line's ass here, and that was to be expected. Miami has a very, very good defensive line. I did not think that Reed would get sacked that much because Reed is mobile enough to avoid pressure,
Hmm.
but there were times that he was like even on that pick, he kind of stepped the wrong way up when he could have flushed out. Now, granted, it's a lot easier to see on the TV camera when you're looking, or the all 22 if you're looking at the all 22 and see where the lanes are. But there were definitely some times that his pocket presence wasn't there and he was stepping the wrong way. Um, on Miami's offensive side, Carson Beck only threw the ball 20 times, which for a college game is freaking low,
Insane. Well,
insanely
you got to
low.
think they were outsnapped. Like I want to say they ran like what is this? 49 offensive plays, and A&M ran 75. So like it
That would
was
make sense.
pretty drastic. Miami did hold the ball for pretty long. I mean, they were pretty even on time. A&M had the ball for like 7 more minutes. It was 33-45 to 26-16. Uh, my biggest thing was, I mean, Mark Fletcher had a good game for Miami. He's about really the
Mark
only person
Mark Fletcher had an
offensively.
incredible game.
Mario Craver played good for A&M, but those are like the only two guys who did anything offensively.
Yeah,
Uh, Ruben Bain absolutely dominated the game.
absolutely dominated the game.
5 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss.
Is
The
he
team, they had 7 sacks as a team. They had 9 tackles for loss. They just dominated.
what year is Baines? Do you know off the top of your head?
He is, I can look right now. I think he's a redshirt junior or maybe a true junior.
So he's hitting the draft this year.
Oh,
He'll
yeah.
be
He'll
in
be
the
going to be a
draft,
top
yeah.
3 pick, probably.
One
Top 5
thousand
pick.
percent. This game solidified that for him. This game absolutely solidified that for him. Yeah, like you said, Mark Fletcher though, stud. Mark Fletcher went
Hmm.
17 carries for 172 yards. That's 10.2 yards per carry. No touchdowns, like you said. The only touchdown came with 2 minutes left on a Carson Beck pass. But Carson Beck is ass, dude. Like I said, only has 20 attempts, but he only hit 14 passes for 103 yards and then that touchdown.
They didn't ask him to do much. And if Fletcher
Yeah,
didn't
but
have,
did they not
excuse me,
ask him to do much because he's ass?
If Fletcher didn't have as good of a game as he did, they would have had to put more on his shoulders. But I mean, if you go look through Fletcher's games this year, 66 yards, 86 yards, 120, 116, 40, 18, 106, 84, 19, 30, and then 172. He's averaged 5.4 yards a carry this year. He just absolutely went off. It's the only game this year where he's averaged double digit yards per carry. Uh, they just they found the hot hand and they just kept riding him. Which is why I don't think which is why Beck only threw it 20 times. They also didn't have the ball very much, but I think it's a recipe for success for Miami. Don't
I
let Beck hurt
agree.
you. Like his QBR was 60.1, so it's just like slightly better than average. Like he can play slightly better than average with the defense that they have. They can win games, but
Yeah, I just don't think that you're going to be able to keep running for 172 yards a game.
no, they'll need
They'll need
Lofton,
Carson
I
Beck
think it
to.
is, or they'll have to get Tony involved on jet sweeps and shit. But
Yeah,
the thing is also is Tony only had 5 catches for 22 yards. Like so, like they they held him in check. They need to get other guys involved, not just
They
him.
do. They do. I think that Carson Beck is just he's just not. I even the
Well,
eyeball test. He just isn't
I'm not
a
saying he's
good
good,
quarterback.
but they definitely need. There's definitely a reason he only threw it 20 times last game.
Yeah. If they have to put the ball in his hand and have him go win the game, they're not winning that game. And then after that, we had the two most boring games this week. Now, I'm going to go over these real quick, but I do have something to say about a take that's been going around. I think you'll agree with my take. You might have seen the TikTok on it. So Tulane Ole Miss. Ole Miss wins 41-10. My opinion, Ole Miss looks better without Kiffin. They came out, just the eyeball test, they came out, they looked better, they looked more fired up without him. They looked like a more serious football team without him. Trinidad Shambles at 23 for 29, 282 yards, one passing touchdown, but then 2 rushing touchdowns. Kawan Lacey, 15 carries, 87 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Jake Retzlaff didn't have a bad game. 20 for 35, 308 yards,
A
1
lot of
touchdown, 1
yards in this
interception.
game.
Yeah, but there was just nobody for
There was
Tulane that
almost
can
1,000 yards combined between the two teams. I think it was Ole Miss 497 and Tulane 421. So they're literally 82 yards off from 500 yards. So 918 yards of total offense. That's crazy. It's a lot of offense for a
ton of
lopsided score.
offense. Ton of offense. I mean, Ole Miss got off to a really hot start. Go and score right away really quickly. Then they get a turnover and they go and score again. Like,
Score.
it was Ole Miss from the get-go. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about this game. Complete blowout. And then what
Just
probably,
like everyone knew was going to happen. I mean, it was 45-10 earlier in the year.
yeah.
People were acting like. So I'm not going to say they're better without Kiffin because I don't feel like they haven't played a quality enough opponent. But they did look good. They beat the shit out of them. Like they did what they were supposed to do to an inferior opponent. They beat the crap out of them. Uh, my whole worry is like now that they had one good game without Kiffin, are they going to get up in their heads like, oh, we're still, we're badass, blah 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 blah, and they're
I
going to walk
def
into Oregon or Georgia and just
I
run
I
into a
definitely
buzzsaw.
agree with you. I do think that they had something to prove in this game, and there is the
Yeah,
chance that they feel like they already proved it. Now, if
just a little bit of a
I'm,
letdown. Maybe not the whole game against
yeah,
Georgia, but they might come out soft.
if
Like not
I'm,
soft,
if
but like you know what I mean. Like
yeah, if
a little more
I'm,
relaxed.
if I'm the Ole Miss coach, I'm telling them all week at practice, you
We
guys
got to
didn't win
improve this
against
shit.
Georgia because of Kiffin. Let's go show them that we can win this game without Kiffin. Let's show that
Hmm.
if Kiffin wasn't our coach, like he's not anymore, that he's the reason that we did not win this game, and we can beat Georgia without them. Um, we'll get into this a little bit later, but Georgia did have like a 3 possession lead going into the fourth quarter in that game. So
I thought it was Ole Miss that had the lead.
sorry, Ole Miss. I say Georgia.
Yeah,
Ole Miss had a 3 possession lead going into the fourth quarter in that game, and then Kiffin kind of had a Kiffin what he's prone to do. Take his foot off the gas pedal, which brings me actually a good segue to the next game, which probably should
he
have been a
actually
worse
put his
game.
foot. He actually put his foot down on the gas pedal and got his ass to Baton Rouge. That's what he did.
He did. You see, he was back in Oxford this week.
Why?
He was at a hot yoga studio.
No way.
Swear,
Oh my god.
he was posting pictures at his hot yoga studio in Oxford.
I'm gonna say bye to his
Um,
ladies.
yeah, yeah. There's just a lot that can be said about that whole situation, and I feel like we've said it all before, but just an insane situation with Kiffin and his seemingly preference towards college age women, and also how many times he mentions the word bag when he texts these college age women. I'm not saying he is doing anything, but he sure does use the word bring the bag a lot. So, or bring a bag a lot. So, anyways, now on to taking your foot off the gas. Oregon JMU. JMU at Oregon. The biggest game JMU has ever played in. obviously
Can I
being
say something
FCS,
about this before you get into it?
you absolutely
Because I
can.
know where you're going to get into it. I know you're going to say how it was like JMU played well, blah blah blah. They scored 34 points. Yeah, they scored 34 points. Uh, Oregon pulled. So for some reason, Dante Moore played the whole game,
Yeah.
but the defensive players for Oregon, JMU scored. So first off, they're down 48-13
Yeah.
with a minute 15 left in the third quarter.
Right.
They pulled everyone. There were some third stringers in the game. This
On
is what I've
defense?
seen on defense.
So they put
And
everybody on
so
defense but kept their first string offense on?
for some reason, I mean, yeah, I was listening to the McAfee show, and he was saying that the defense was third stringers, backups, and third stringers. But it doesn't make any sense because why would Dante Moore still be in the game?
Yeah, you're not gonna
And
risk, like, if you have a comfortable lead where you're gonna put second and even third stringers in on defense, you're not gonna risk Dante Moore getting hurt
yeah, so
and staying
it didn't
in.
really make sense. I don't know if they like wanted to try and stat pad more or what, but it just felt it was weird. And then I kind of turned the game off when it was 48-13. So to see this final score 51-34 was kind of wild.
Yeah, I definitely was. I was watching on my phone, but I was definitely paying significantly more attention to uh, the Bears game. Go Bears! Caleb looked great in that game, Nick.
Yeah, notice how the Bears can only beat the Packers when they hurt Jordan Love.
Hey, you guys had a chance to stop the Bears and recover an onside kick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we would have
It
scored
is.
more than 16 points. I mean, it's just the Bears are gonna Bears, and I'm totally fine with it. Uh, so I mean, they'll get in the playoffs and they'll come against a team who actually can put up a lot of points and won't lose their quarterback. And they're only going to be able to put up 16 points, and they're going to lose. And shit.
I love.
Hopefully they get the 2 seed, and Packers get the 7 seed. We'll really see who it is. We'll really see then.
I love this rivalry. I love this rivalry. Anyways,
I hate the Bears.
I'm a Bears fan for the rest of the season.
It was pretty sweet was seeing the Lions lose. Talk
I
about
do
a
agree with
fan
that.
base that freaking doesn't know how to win.
Yeah, there's a lot that I mean. That is not this podcast, but there's a lot that can be said about the Lions. I
Yeah, we got
am.
to start talking about NFL for a second.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go on record. I'm not a big fan of Dan Campbell. He is Brandon Staley, but gets lucky and hits plays. Like he goes for it in the worst situations. He calls the stupidest plays, and then they just
I don't
work
even know if
out.
there's a
And
college coach to compare to him.
I don't think. Uh, I would say like Dan Lanning. I feel like Dan Lanning goes for it at some really weird times. For example, in the JNU game, the first touchdown they scored, they go for 2 points and miss it. Now, granted, that didn't have any effect on the game, but like, it's just kind of one of those like, what is the thought process here? And it was a trick play too. Is that stupid Oregon field goal formation? They come out and they
Oh,
spread the field, and they all bunch up. Except they didn't bunch up. They ran a play and then they like threw it out of bounds. Like it was ridiculously bad. And it's like first play of the game. Let's just take the 7. If JMU goes down and scores there,
mm-hmm.
now they're leading. Like, there's a momentum change there. Um, JMU was only able to get 3, and there was kind of a little bit of a momentum back and forth for a minute. Now, but I'm not going to say that JMU played well. Where I'm going with that is that Oregon took their foot off the gas, and I just realized on the outline I put football off gas. Oregon took football off gas. No pun intended there, typo. But Oregon took their foot off the gas. Even if they put the second and third stringers in, those second and third stringers are definitely better than the starters at JMU. And then even if it was just on defense, but on offense they kept their starters on, they still put up 3 points in the entire fourth quarter. So that to me raises some concerns for Oregon about finishing games. Now, obviously, it's a lot easier, or I should say, it's a lot easier to take your foot off the gas when you're up big than in a close game, obviously. Um, But what if they have a 14-point lead or a 21-point lead going against Texas Tech? To me, there's some concerns there. Texas Tech went and say put up a touchdown. Now they have a 14-point lead. Get a stop. Go down and now they have a chance to make it a 7-point game. That's a momentum shifter right there. And we know that momentum in football is huge. And I just don't think that you can take your foot off the game in a playoff game. And that's what it raises some concerns about finishing for me. Now, Dante Moore, 19 for 27, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So definitely there is some stat padding that could have been going on there with that. But, I mean, still, throwing 2 picks, 19 for 27, I'm not seeing it from Dante Moore. And that's against a JMU team. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing a top team that can go win the national championship there. And then they allowed Barnett the second to go 23 for 48, 273 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And same thing, that's a JMU quarterback. Like, realistically,
50% completion, even against second, third stringers.
Under 50% completion, but I mean that 273, 2 touchdowns. If JMU is the 24th ranked team, and I think the team that like Georgia would not have allowed that against JMU. Ohio State wouldn't have allowed that. Indiana wouldn't have allowed that.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think like how many of those yards came after? Like, let's see, they went on. Their touchdown drive, so it's 21, so it's 110 yards plus 99-yard drive. So 209 of their 500 yards of offense came in one quarter. So they basically...
I completely get that. My concern just goes back to Oregon finishing the game then.
Yeah, I get that. I just think I think they just took their foot off the gas. Like, I mean, if you're beating the crap out of someone, you take your foot off the gas a little bit. It happens.
Did championship teams do that? Like in any of the Alabama championship years, would Saban have allowed a team to take their foot off the gas? Saban was putting his first string back in on offense to keep shutouts alive, up 56-0.
I don't think Saban would have gone to his third stringers. That's the thing. It's like he would have put in some backups, but. Like, Dan Lanning basically was like, get some reps. We're going to win. Like,
I mean,
we're up 35 points with 16 minutes left in the game. Like, they're not going to come back.
I see that.
And maybe he wanted his defensive guys to get reps, and that's why he kept Dante Moore in the game. Like, if they score, okay, we'll just go down and score again. But
I totally get it. I just think in this moment in a playoff game, and whether that's a coaching decision to take the foot off the gas and put the defensive, second stringers and third stringers in.
It's all on Lanning. 100%.
That's a stupid decision then, in my opinion, to take your foot off the gas. It didn't cost you in this game, but it does raise some concerns for me going forward on that. Also, Wayne Knight, running back for JMU, metal-sounding name, Wayne Knight. Also sounds like that would be like Batman's moniker.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting, but 17 carries for 110 yards. Actually had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
No touchdowns, though. All right, before we talk about any of the upcoming college football playoff games, I do think we have to talk about something that is a shockwave across college football, but also a little bit nearer and dearer to our hearts than it is to the average college football fan. USC and Notre Dame are ending their rivalry. I shouldn't say ending their rivalry. They are ending their annual matchup. Obviously, the rivalry will continue to live on, and if anything, I think this intensifies it. The fans have been going back and forth over which school is the biggest pussy lately, which school is the softest. I have a couple of things about that. So before I really do anything on my opinion, I'm just going to tell you some of the facts. So it's been known for a while that USC has wanted to move the game earlier in the season. And the reason that they wanted to move the game earlier in the season is because they have to go and play in the Big Ten. So they're traveling across the country to the Midwest 5 times a year, 4 times a year already, while Notre Dame is not doing that. And last year, or I think last year and this year, no Big Ten team traveled and had an out-of-conference road game later in the season than USC did. Or it would have been this year because they didn't play. They played at home last year. So USC admin is looking at this going, look, we're getting an extra travel in the middle of our Big Ten season. This year, for example, we played Michigan and then turned around and played Notre Dame. Notre Dame played North Carolina State and then turned around and played us, played USC. There's a big difference in opponents there in terms of the talent level, the physicality that they're going to bring, how beat up you're going to be for that Notre Dame game versus how beat up Notre Dame will be for the USC game. So it's been known for a while they wanted to move it a little bit later in the season, or a little bit earlier in the season, looking between weeks 0 and 4. But then Ryan Cartjay, I believe he is an LA Times writer. He's an LA Times writer. Tweeted this out. I'm just going to read the tweet, and for the video version, I'm going to take a screenshot and post it up here. So, USC and Notre Dame were close to announcing a continuation of the rivalry earlier this season, a source told the LA Times. USC was ready to compromise and play the 2026 game in November, but then USC learned of Notre Dame's agreement with the college football playoff to have a guaranteed spot if they're in the top 12. So, we all saw the news that Notre Dame, if they're in the top 12, now have an understanding, an MOU, that they will automatically get in over other at-large bids. So, for example, this year, they would have gotten in over Miami because they were ranked, I think, 11th. Miami was 10th, and then you had the 2 group of 5 auto bids that pushed Notre Dame out. They would have gotten in over Miami. We've all talked about how stupid this is. Every non-Notre Dame fan is pretty mad about this and has been talking about it. But USC realized something with this. So they realized that Miami beat Notre Dame earlier in the season, but Miami was still ranked under them, and Notre Dame going forward will get in over Miami even though Miami beat them and they have the same record. So from USC's perspective, you're looking at this going, if there is an extra loss, say we have the same record and we beat them, there's still a good chance they get in over us. But if we lose, we're effectively eliminated if we have the same record going into that game. So the risk, what I'm calling the reward to risk ratio there, just isn't worth it for USC. Now, Marcus Freeman, earlier in the year doing this, said anytime, any place. USC was about to give in to the November date, then said, no, we want week 0 earlier in the season. And then Notre Dame announces the BYU schedule. So obviously they did not mean it when they said anytime, any place. But yeah,
sounds very Marcus Freeman like. All bark, no bite.
All bark, no bite. Say one thing, do the opposite.
Literally all talk, and what do you have to show for it? You don't play in a conference. Like, you haven't won shit.
Nothing.
Like, you continue to lose big games. You don't win the big games. You continue to lose them. So, and then now he's interviewing, or he's the hot candidate to be the New York Giants head coach. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, he's a good football coach, but there's a bunch of good football coaches. Like,
I think it's the attitude that Notre Dame has right now is that we're better than everybody else in college football, and we're better than we're more important. We're better than college football. Agreed, 1,000% agreed.
Anyone in college football in 25 years.
Agreed, 1,000%.
It's insane.
I think they even have the attitude of we're too good for the sport. Like, we're the sport, and you guys are all playing our game, and you see this. Just the fan base, the way that they talk about, will go and talk about things and be very wrong on it. We see this with the way that the admin acted about missing out on the college football playoff, and the fact that the ACC was pushing
on a freaking crybaby tour.
Yes, 100%.
No other schools do that, dude. Like,
yeah, no other school. Like, BYU did not do that. You know what BYU did? They said, "Okay, cool, we'll go prove it in the bowl game." Notre Dame went on a crybaby tour. They got mad at the ACC for pushing a team that is in the ACC over Notre Dame, or pushing for them to get in publicly, and then opted out of their bowl game. Then they just ruined this rivalry by not agreeing after coming out and saying anytime, any place. They have a backdoor deal with the college football playoff to get in. Like, they are the biggest crybaby participation trophy, give us exactly what we want, or we're gonna take our ball and go home program out there. Meanwhile, they haven't joined a conference. Their schedule next year, they have three true road games. They have three true road games. So they have Wisconsin and Green Bay, which is technically
Not
a
even a
home
road
game,
game.
but it's
It's a
the
neutral
Shamrock.
site.
Yeah, it's a Shamrock, but it's in Green Bay at Lambeau. So um, a little bit closer. It's in the same state, but Indiana's right there too. Like it's a neutral site game. They have Rice at home. They have Michigan State at home. They travel to Purdue. That's going to be a real
Oh
great
no.
tough game.
Travel to
Then
the
they go
worst
in.
team in the Big Ten.
Then they go and they take on North Carolina in North Carolina.
Oh
Again,
no.
oh no, the worst team in the
Take
ACC.
away, take on geriatric Bill. Oh no.
Don't forget Jordan Hudson will be there in her probably in her full cheer uniform too. Uh, I feel uniquely
Yeah, they don't
situated to
play.
talk about this because I work at a cheer gym. So this is like my two worlds have been colliding with this whole thing, and it's really funny. Um, they play Navy. And I get the Navy rivalry. Navy saved Notre Dame. They repay them by playing them every year, but like it's Navy. They play Miami. That's at home. They play Boston College. That's at home. They play SMU. That's at home, and they play big bad Syracuse and Syracuse before finishing with Stanford. Sorry, four road games now because they're playing at BYU. So they have four true road games. So now they have the absolute softest schedule. And I really hope that now I really like that USC stuck to their guns and said, no, we're not letting you walk all over us. You take it or leave it. Notre Dame clearly left it. That's on them. But I'm glad that the USC has been stuck to their principles and aren't going to let them do what they want anymore. I hope that every Power Four school follows in their lead. And if Notre Dame wants to play tough or wants to stay without a conference, they have to play a group of five teams. Even if they go undefeated playing a group of five schedule, no guarantee they get into the playoffs.
Hmm.
I think it makes a ton of sense for them to join the Big Ten, but they're too scared to do it.
Yep.
They have four of their
Shit,
rivals in
dude,
the
just
Big Ten.
join the ACC.
I
Like
think
you're
join the
already in the
Big Ten. You
ACC in
have
every other freaking sport.
if rivalries are so important to them, which they ruined the Michigan rivalry, they ended the Michigan State rivalry and just recently brought it back, and they ended the Purdue rivalry, or they ended the USC rivalry, and then the Miami rivalry. It's like one of their lower tier rivalries in terms of how they feel about it. Has just recently been brought back. Four of your rivals, so USC, Michigan, Michigan State, and Purdue, are in the Big Ten. Join the Big Ten if rivalry games are so important to you.
Yeah, so I mean, this kind of thing it kind of strikes a nerve for me. I've got a lot of family that Notre Dame fans. My grandpa's Notre Dame fan, my grandma's Notre Dame fan, my mom's a Notre Dame fan. Uh, Everyone on her side of the family, huge Notre Dame fans. So, and it's kind of always been like a big thing, you know. It's not so much
Right.
like, oh, when USC beats Notre Dame or Notre Dame beats USC, like we just sit and talk crap to each other.
Right,
But
right.
it's just an important game, and it's been going on since 1926. I just think it's a shame that Notre Dame wouldn't like they're out here preaching anytime, any place, and then they go schedule BYU instead of USC, and it's like, why? Like, for
Yeah,
what? For what? Like, for what gain? And
yeah,
you're already doing all these things, like you said, the guarantee to make the playoffs, and too scared to join a conference, and just all this other stuff, and it just really annoys me. They're like I was always able to tolerate Notre Dame because of my family. Now I have like a big disdain, and it really kind of pisses me off.
I'm 100% with you. I've always said I respect them as a program, being another blue blood successful program. I hate them, but it's a respect. Like I hate them more than I hate any team, but also like I respect them for what they are, and I've lost over the last 3 weeks. All of that respect that I had for that program has gone straight down the drain, and I'm as a USC fan, I'm happy that they're not that this school is not playing them. That USC is standing on business and not playing them. I think it's a terrible for college football to be ending these rivalries.
Mm,
But ultimately, at the end of the day, Jen Cohen, the AD, Lincoln Riley, the head coach at USC, their responsibility is to stand on USC business, not keep college football afloat. And one side can only do so much. The other side is going to say one thing publicly, and then not even come to the table. Really, nothing that could happen there.
yep.
All right, time to move on because if I keep talking about Notre Dame, I'm going to say some even worse things than I've already said. Um, let's get to round 2 of the college football playoff. So, starting off on New Year's Eve, the Cotton Bowl, one of my favorite bowl games. I wish they still played at the actual Cotton Bowl Stadium. We got Miami, Ohio State, which is like a classic Orange Bowl type of vibe to me. I mean,
Yeah.
Ohio State typically a Rose Bowl team, but like that's a very I could see that being a Rose Bowl game with Miami or a Orange Bowl game with Miami. Um, so my thoughts on this before I get to my pick, Nick, I'm gonna give you go ahead and make the first pick.
Uh, well, so I think this game has the makings to be a little bit more high scoring than the A&M Miami game. Uh, I actually do see Miami scoring 10 points again. I don't see him scoring very much more, maybe 13, maybe 9 points. I don't know. Maybe their kicker
Yeah,
actually hit some field goals. Uh, I just don't see them scoring more than one touchdown. So maybe 16 points, maybe 13, 10, 9, whatever, somewhere around there. I do think Ohio State struggles. Uh, they haven't, the teams coming that have had the buys haven't looked the best. Granted, it's only been 1 year, but they didn't look great last year, the
right.
conference champs. I'm pretty sure all four of them lost.
Yeah,
Uh, so, and that makes it, um, that's for a different team. I'll talk about that. But I had a point I was going to get. I just feel like Ohio State's going to come out a little slow, but I do think they're going to put up enough points. I think they'll score about 24, 27 points. They have too much firepower outside. They'll be able to move it a little bit more than A&M was on the ground. Sand doesn't run much, but he's accurate and he gets the ball to his playmakers, and his playmakers make plays. So, with that being said, I think just weighing Ohio State's defense versus Miami's offense, and then Ohio State's offense versus Miami's defense. I think it's like a 20, 26, or sorry, 27-16 type of game, 24-13, stuff like that. Real under 40 points, maybe even under 35 points. Very defensive game again.
I'm with you. I think that it'll be a defensive game. So this is I got just four things that what I'm looking at. You got Miami's defense is great, but their offense is mid. It's average. Across the way, Ohio State also has an incredibly good defense. You can make the case better. You can make the case slightly
Yeah,
worse,
it might be
but
better.
right around it might be better. Um, but their offense is very good. And so when you're looking at that, two great defenses, one mid offense versus one very good offense, I'm rolling with a very good offense. I'm rolling with OSU here. Um, I
It
think
wouldn't
it's going to be a
surprise
low
me if
scoring game.
it's low scoring early, like 0-0 through the first
Yep.
quarter.
Yeah,
Or
100%. I think it'll be.
Miami's up 6-0 or 6-3 going like halfway through the second quarter. Like it could be
I
a real slow start to it, and I think second half it really picks up.
I think so. I think Ohio State will make the second half adjustments. I think Miami might not score a touchdown in this game with how good. I mean, Ohio State's defense is better than A&M's offense or than A&M's defense. Um,
Only
I
giving
just
up
I
like 8 points a game this year, so
Yeah, I just really think that Ohio State wins this game, and they I think they win comfortably, but it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. One of those games where Ohio State's just going to dominate, and it's going to be a 14-point win, a 10-point win,
that could have
but
been way worse.
it's never going to feel like it's a close game.
Yep.
Then the next day, when we are all waking up hungover after uh, staying up late and watching the ball drop, um, bright and early, and I kind of hate the timing of this game with the Rose Bowl with being Bama and Indiana because you don't get that iconic sun setting over the San Gabriel Mountains right behind the stadium like you do when it's a 5 o'clock or a 3 o'clock game. And so I'm not really sure. Oh, you know what? We do get that. I skipped a game. That is a 3 o'clock game. I
Oh
skipped a
yeah.
game here. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was pretty sure that was a 3K. Sorry. Second up, we have the Orange Bowl. That is Oregon and Texas Tech. I'm going to give a little bit of background. Oregon's best win was USC. Texas Tech's best win was BYU twice in humiliating fashion. Um, Oregon obviously coming off the JMU win. Texas Tech with a bye week. Orange was a great game. It is new, like I said, New Year's Day. But let's go to your pick first.
So I think this game, I think both defenses, I think both defensive lines will have good days. Oregon wants to run the ball. Texas Tech wants to run the ball. So I think it'll be kind of a slugfest. Oregon's offense is pretty explosive. If they could hit those big plays, they could put up points. This is a really tough one. I think this has potential to be the best game out of the four, just because of the sole fact, like it's not the biggest names, but they're teams that are just as good and they have just as much star power. Oregon, I think Dante Moore has another pretty good game. I think besides those two picks, he played a perfect game. Besides those two picks, he literally, even with those two picks, he had a 99.1 QBR out of 100.
Yeah.
So he played a damn good game. I don't know if Texas Tech has been tested enough, and that's not a knock on them. It's just that the Big 12 isn't as strong as the Big 10.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
but that being said, Oregon really hasn't been like they lost to Indiana, and then they beat USC and then they beat Iowa. But
Yeah.
I think this game comes down to what defense makes more plays. I feel like this one's a little more high scoring, maybe like 45, 50 points scored. Uh, Not your old shootout college football game, but I'm going to go with Oregon. I think Oregon takes this one. I think they take it by about 3 points, like 31, or not 31-28, maybe like a 28-24, stuff like that. Maybe they kick a field goal for the win and win 27-24, just something close like that.
I So these are what I'm looking at. So Texas Tech defense is insane, led by J Rod. J Rod is an insane playmaker at linebacker. Their offense is really good, but Texas Tech is very unproven. Like I said, their best win was BYU twice, but the Big 12 just wasn't deep at all this year.
Morton doesn't scare me at quarterback either.
I don't think he's as good as like a Marcel Reed, or
I
as
think
good
Marcel Reed,
as
yeah, yeah.
or even a Trinidad Chambliss, someone like that. But I don't think he's a bad. I think he's better than Beck. He's a lot more consistent in my opinion. Like you know what you're gonna get with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty consistent. Consistently just where he is. Oregon, I'm not the. I don't think their defense is great. Their defensive line is
The
good.
defense is really
Besides
good, but it's
that,
not great. I mean,
yeah.
they had the number one pass defense in the country for a little bit.
True. Yeah. It's not as good as some of these other teams. I think Texas Tech might have the better defense, to be honest. Their
Just
offense,
think it's a battle of two teams that are really, really good football teams that just haven't been tested as much. Like
I
they
would
didn't play the
agree.
easiest schedule in the world, but they
Yeah,
also haven't played the hardest schedule in the world.
that is true. I will say that Dante Moore, he is looking more informed, but earlier in the season he's shown a little bit of inconsistency. There's been games that he's looked pretty bad in, to be honest.
If he keeps
Um,
having a good playoff and like I think if he has a really good playoff, even if Fernando has a good playoff, I think Dante Moore could boost his stock and be the number one quarterback taken in the draft.
I agree. I agree.
Like he's
With
got all
this
the
game
physical
though,
tools.
like I said, I think agreed. These two teams match up very similarly to each other.
Hmm.
I think the difference is J Rod. I think the difference is Texas Tech having a playmaker on that side of the ball. That is their best player that can make an interception. Not can force an interception. I say can force a fumble, can force a big play, can rush. I think Texas Tech takes it just because of that. But I think it's going to be a very close game. It could come down to last drive, whether Texas Tech has to go put a field goal up, Oregon driving downfield, and J Rod makes a really good interception or forces a fumble. But I think that the difference is J Rod, and I think that Texas Tech will end up winning because of the playmaker they have on defense.
Okay.
Then next we got what I alluded to, Bama, Indiana in the Rose Bowl, so we get to see that beautiful sunset over the San Gabriel Mountains. Best moment in football every year is that shot of the sun setting over the stadium or behind the mountains. Um, Absolute best moment in college football every single year. Let you go first again.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite New Year's Six bowl.
One
Always,
thousand percent.
just being
It's
2 hours away
we're
from Pasadena growing
and
up.
we're gonna be biased to this game with it being USC's second home, the game that we watched USC play in every year for the first half of our lives.
Yeah. Uh, but my biggest thing with the Rose Bowl this year is this game might not be like that old when you used to be Big Ten, Pac-12, and they would just go to war, and it'd be a lot of shootouts and crazy games. I think this one's going to be kind of the opposite. I think this one's going to be really low scoring. I think Bama's defense is good enough. Uh, they have I think it was number 12 defense coming into it. I think they will slow Indiana down a little bit. I think I'm not big on these teams having a week off.
Right.
I think they're going to come out slow, and I think Indiana will come back and take control towards the end of the game. But I think it'll be a little more low scoring. Bama won't be able to move the ball at all. Uh, they don't have a run game. We've talked about it all year. They don't have a
Yeah.
run game. Ty Simpson will have to get the ball to his playmakers, and we'll see. I mean, Indiana's shut down Ohio State and all their playmakers. I see him doing it again. Uh, Bama's best win. I mean, they've really was it Georgia? Like they've had
Yeah.
like one or two really good wins all year, and so I mean, I just think Indiana takes it. I think it's another low scoring Big Ten championship type of game, maybe 2017, 20-14, something like that. But I'm taking Indiana.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a very low scoring game. I think it's going to be a very similar game to the Big Ten championship. We know Indiana can win in those games. Bama's offense is okay. Their pass game has looked good at times and not great at times. Absolutely no run game. Their best win was Georgia, but that was a while ago. Since that game, they have not looked nearly the same. They did lose to Florida State, so they've shown cracks in their foundation. Indiana, I think, is they're number one for a reason. They're probably the best team in football, beating Ohio State. And right now, you would say they are the best team in football because they're in college football because they did beat Ohio State. Um, they're a great overall team, just phenomenal overall. Very team oriented football.
Well
Very
coached.
very well coached. Very fundamentally sound football team. Um, and I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna take Indiana here because I think that Bama won't be able to move the ball. I don't think they'll be able to move the ball, and I think Indiana will do just enough to win that game and play really good defense and stop Alabama's okay-ish, um, okay-ish offense. And then we have the last college football playoff game of the week, and I think this is the most intriguing matchup to me. That's Ole Miss and Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. It's a rematch. We've seen this game play out before, and it was one of the best games of the regular season.
Yeah. Me and you were talking about it beforehand. Ole Miss had a 3 possession lead going in the fourth quarter of that game, and they just blew it. Uh, you think Ole Miss looks better now? I still want to give them more time before I crown them that way. Um, they did look good, but granted, it is Tulane. It's always, and you hear it from everyone, it's always hard to beat the same team more than once in the same season. And I just feel like this game being, I feel like it's perfectly placed. It's right there in New Orleans. Those Georgia fans can travel on over. Those Ole Miss fans can travel. It's right in the perfect spot. It should be
Yeah,
like perfect
it's a
mix of
true
fans for a
neutral
neutral
site
site.
where both fans can be there.
I'm excited to watch it. Uh, I think there will be tons of yards, just like in
Yeah,
the game against Tulane. I think there'll be tons of yards, not as many points though. Like I mean, there's potential for 43-41 type of game in
right.
overtime, whatever. Uh, I just think the defenses will bend but won't break. I think
Okay.
we'll see like maybe like five field goals kicked in the game, and I just don't trust Georgia's offense enough, but I don't trust Ole Miss's defense enough. So one of those has got to give. I know Trinidad and Lacey and all those receivers, they're going to put up points. They're going to put up yards. They'll put up, you can almost book them for 3 touchdowns and two field. You can almost book them for almost
Right.
27 points. Like,
Right.
so I think it just all comes down to, can Ole Miss get a few stops? Because they were getting stops and then they stopped getting stops in the second half, the fourth quarter.
They also
Use the word
stopped
stop a lot.
scoring.
Yes. Uh, so I think, and I think this is just coming from my hatred from Georgia. I'm just not a big fan of Georgia, but I am going Ole Miss uh, strictly because it's hard to beat the same team twice. Trinidad and Q and Lacey can put up yards. They can put up points. They still have their OC. Their DC is now their head coach. They have a lot of continuity still there, even though Kiffin's gone. Uh, I It's hard. This one's hard, but I am going to take Ole Miss. These are all such good games. Like, you could literally go any way and have like a good fighting uh,
Right.
argument for it.
So this is what I'm looking at here. Like I said, Ole Miss was up 3 possessions in the fourth quarter and gave up a lead, and Kiffin is prone to doing that. Ole Miss, in my opinion, looks better now, and it's hard to beat the same team twice. And you're looking at the teams. I don't trust Georgia's offense. They have a very good defense, but Ole Miss has a very good offense. Lacey, very good running back. Trinidad Chambliss, a very good quarterback. Even Austin Simmons is a good quarterback if something were to happen to Trinidad Chambliss. They're a very good offense. They have playmakers on the outside as well. I don't think that Georgia will be able to keep up with them in a track meet game. And I think that Ole Miss will win this game. It's hard to beat the same team twice. Ole Miss had the talent to beat them last time. The wheels fell off at the end. They let their foot off the gas, and then the momentum was on Georgia's side. I also think Ole Miss has something to prove here, right? They had something to prove last week with, okay, we are just as good as we are with Kiffin without him. And now we're better. You know, with that game that we played against Ole Miss or against Georgia, we lost because of Kiffin. We can beat them without Kiffin. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Ole Miss wins this game and moves on to the semifinals. Now we also have some bowl games this week. I don't know, Nick.
Tons.
I
There's like
really love, yeah,
21
I
bowl
love
games.
bowl games, dude. I know it's kind of like the unpopular thing. A lot of people are like, oh, bowl games don't matter, championship game or bust. I was texting you at like 11:30 a.m.
About
because
Louisville.
Miller Moss, yeah, because Miller Moss made a good play.
Yeah.
I
I see. I
absolutely
didn't
love
really
bowl
watch
games.
the video or the video. I didn't watch the games today because I was busy, but it seemed like they were all close games. You got
They
27
were, yeah,
22,
yeah,
27-16, 17-10. Ooh,
yeah.
Ohio
No,
beat
and
UNLV.
did they? Well, okay, yeah. I saw they were up. But we started recording as like a third quarter, and then obviously couldn't watch it. Louisville beat Toledo 27-22. Toledo was right there. But tomorrow or today, if you're listening to this, so Wednesday, I'm just gonna use what day it is. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and 2 p.m. where this game is being played, the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, California Cal versus Hawaii. That could actually be a pretty good game.
Yeah,
I think those two
JKS
teams are,
should be playing.
yeah, those two
Alito's
teams
a
are
good quarterback.
those are very similar teams, very similarly skilled
Two
teams.
left-handed
That could be,
quarterbacks too. Two young
yeah, that'll
left-handed
be fun.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I think that's a good game just to kind of have on, and if you can pay attention, pay attention. It is
I
Christmas Eve
really
after
hope
all. But
Alito's a lefty. I swear he is.
all right, you look that up. I'm talking no games on Christmas. Friday, we have the Game Above Sports Bowl, which just sounds like the most generic youth tournament name ever. Ford Field, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Central Michigan versus Northwestern. Nothing to say about that. Then 4:30 Eastern, New Mexico versus Minnesota in the Rate Bowl. Then we got the Serve Pro. We have a ton of games this day. We have three. Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. FIU versus UTSA, and that is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Saturday, we got the Gold Bowling Military Bowl, and that's Pitt versus East Carolina. Could be a decent game if East
Pitt's gonna whoop
Carolina
their
plays
ass.
well.
I
And then
think. I think.
Saturday, yeah. And then I have what are two of my favorite games, and now these are two of my favorite games because they're back to back, and the home teams for these stadiums hate each other. So the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Penn State versus Clemson on Saturday. That is an incredibly good game. Two teams that were very overrated to start the year. If you put them in week 0, that's like a very, very, very good matchup. Then right after that, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, which is UConn and Army, not as good, but I love that they put them back to back. Yankees, Red Sox. It kind of keeps that rivalry going in December. Like, it's kind of a fun way to keep that reference hit. Then we have Saturday, my absolute favorite bowl of all time, and that is the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Georgia Tech versus BYU, 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific Time. This is going to be a great game. Great game. The matchups, everything that goes into the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I love it. I will be having that game on and just paying attention to it nonstop and not responding to anybody's text except Nick because we'll be talking about the game.
Yes, exactly. I'm excited for it. I think BYU is going to beat them. I think they have a little bit of something to prove, and I think they kind of dog walk them.
I'm going Georgia Tech here. You know how I feel about Haynes King. I love Haynes King. I love Georgia Tech this year. They're a really fun, good team. Played Georgia very tough. I'm going Georgia Tech here. And we have another kind of like funny game, and that is this is the official name. This is Saturday, 4:30. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. First of all, we're throwing Snoop's name in there twice. Presented by, and then by. Like, there's just a lot going on with this name, but that's Miami of Ohio versus Fresno State. Also Saturday, we have the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl, North Texas versus San Diego State. We got
I hope
the tax.
Maker plays.
Dude.
I doubt he does, though. I doubt him and Hawkins play because I think
I'm assuming that Morris is no longer coaching, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Messmaker has his bags already unpacked in Oklahoma State, and he's in Stillwater at this moment. Then Saturday at 9:15 Eastern Time, 6:15 Pacific Time, we have the Kinder's Texas Bowl in NRG Stadium, and this is LSU in Houston, so this is a home game for Houston. NRG being in Houston, actually could be a pretty good game. LSU obviously not nearly as good as they were expected to be. Houston really didn't have a lot of hype going into the season.
They're a little better than expected.
A little bit better than expected. I did forget a game here. We got a TaxSlayer Gator Bowl before that game at 7:30. That is Virginia versus Missouri, or Mizzou. That's in Jacksonville, Florida. So kind of a true neutral site there. Be interesting to see what Mizzou does there. And Virginia, obviously, better season than they expected because of tiebreakers. So that could be a good game. With nothing on Sunday, don't want to compete against the NFL. Then on Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl, which is Georgia Southern versus App State. Go Clay Helton. Always root for him. Good dude. Not a great coach. Then December 30th, that is Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Coastal Carolina versus Louisiana Tech. Really nothing to say there. Then we have the Liberty at 5:30 Eastern Time, the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl in Tennessee, and Tennessee is playing in this. They're playing Illinois. Battle of the Oranges, and also a home game for Tennessee. And two teams, Tennessee worse than expected, Illinois kind of that same level. They were a little bit worse than expected as well. Could be actually a close game. Mm-hmm. Then the one we are most excited for, Nick, in San Antonio, Texas, the Valero Alamo Bowl, USC versus TCU. USC should win this game pretty easily. That is at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Interesting, though, to see who wide receiver one is. Is it going to be Tanook Haynes? How will he play? Obviously, Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane not playing in the game, but Jaden Mayava coming back. And then for TCU,
behind Lake.
Well, behind Lake is Walker, and he's in the portal. So
well, that's what I mean. Like, who's gonna be trotting out there?
Joey Olsen, baby,
or Walter.
Joey Olsen, I did not realize because he's so far on the depth chart that's a real person. I just thought that was the name of the fake tight end in the college football 26 game. I did bring him over in the transfer portal from USC to Texas Tech. I made a couple of really good catches for me, so big Joey Olsen fan around here. TCU, obviously, Hoover not playing because he entered the transfer portal, so that will be also a very good game. I think USC should. Well, I'm not saying a good game. I think USC should win this game pretty easily. Then December 31st, New Year's Eve, 12 o'clock, the ReliaQuest Bowl, Iowa versus Vanderbilt. That might be the most.
In.
Yeah, that might be the best game of two close teams. Put it up there with the Pinstripe Bowl and the Pop-Tart Bowl. It'll be very interesting to see if Iowa can stop Pavia and how Iowa's offense looks against Vanderbilt's defense. Then we have 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. Arizona State versus Duke.
Be a good game.
I think that could be a good game. I think that could absolutely be a good game. ACC champions. I think that could be a good game. The Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl is up next, and that is Michigan versus Texas. That, to me, is a great game.
I think Texas kind of dominates them.
Oh, see, I'm thinking Michigan kind of dominates them.
Texas's defense is so good.
Yeah, Michigan's line is good. Michigan can run the ball.
Michigan's in so much turmoil, though.
That is true.
Do you think Biff Poggi can rally the boys?
There's a lot going on in Michigan right now. There's a lot going on in Ann Arbor right now. That could play into it. And then the last non-college football playoff bowl game of the year, as a matter of fact, of the year, the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Nebraska versus Utah. That could actually be a pretty good game with Nebraska. No?
It depends if who's sitting out for Utah.
Yeah.
No Raiola. I mean, I don't know. Nebraska hasn't really – they didn't look good without Raiola.
No, but I think there's a lot of question marks here, though. That's why I think it could be like a sloppy good game.
Utah's favored by 15.5.
Are they really?
I'm wondering if all those guys are going to play. I wonder if Dan Peter's going to play and all that.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that will not be a good game. And then there's obviously a couple that we'll talk about after the playoffs that, kind of here and there. But that's the majority of the bowl games. So we're kind of getting right into the heat of bowl season here.
Yep, best time of the year.
I agree. I love bowl season. But I think that's all I got for you, Nick. Anything that I did not touch on that you want to touch on?
I think we got it all.
All right, then, if you've made it this far, make sure to, like, follow, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube, and watch it on there. Maybe listen to it. Also, get us a little double hit right there. Make sure to follow Nick. Nick posts. I keep waiting for Nick to post normal TikToks, but he just keeps posting the clips from the podcast here. He has some good takes. I swear to God, Nick has some good takes. He needs to get it out to the people. He has some hot takes too that are good. Besides that, wishing everybody that's listening and everyone even I guess that's not listening a Merry Christmas. And we'll have the next one out, possibly, but probably have the next one out right before New Year's Eve. Yeah, so we'll save the New Year's Happy New Year's for that. But wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and that is it, guys. We'll see you next week.